Damp zone.
No.
It's time
That's
for
still,
wet
that's
ones.
still no good. I don't like it.
Hey, welcome to Wet Ones, the show with wet nuggets and wetter wet wets. I'm Graham, and joining me tonight is Kathleen.
Hi.
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 I'm so excited to have you here for
I'm
this.
so excited to be here. This is the
No.
most I've seen you all week, I feel.
Yeah, it is. Now, for everybody else, actually, first of all, let's just reveal our cadre of wets this evening. No newly debuting wets tonight. These are all.
Oh, is this like a greatest hits?
Pretty much, yeah.
Oh, I'm so lucky.
Yeah.
Now that's what I call wet.
Do we have hand sanitizer?
That's a great question.
I want to wash my hands.
We do
before
have
I-
hand sanitizer. Brett is on it. We also have these wet ones. These actual wet ones.
Oh, I thought they were a prop.
No, they've been here every night. So far, only one person's used them, but they are indeed antibacterial hand wipes. If you
Figure
so
I'm gonna
desire.
be touching so many things. You know what, Brett? No, Brett. We've got wet ones.
Oh, you
they
bet.
sponsored the show, right?
Brett.
We're being paid for all of this. This.
Nope.
We sure aren't.
Hey, wet ones. Do I have a brand opportunity for you?
You'll love it. Why have I never thought to do this until now?
It'll get views.
Yeah. So for most of our other guests,
There's a little chat.
there is a little chat. We've
Oh.
we've improved it slightly. For all, these also. I don't know if these smell bad or
They
if it's.
smell. Why does these smell like pina colada? Are they scented? For my displeasure.
These do smell kind of like pina colada. That's weird. For most of our other guests, I've reached out to their partner
Yeah.
to ask them, what would be a funny thing that what's a thing that I shouldn't know, right?
Right.
What's like a good sort of like Hot Ones-esque question of
Yeah.
sort of there's a Sean Evans gets a lot of credit for his interviewing. I do want to shout out to Nardwar as well.
Oh yeah.
For his like really just being able to get people. But in the example where I am that person, there's not a lot that I can really surprise you with, so I'm mostly just teeing you up to tell some stories.
Okay, that sounds good.
But hey, let's start off with our first wet.
Is it pee wet?
It's pee wet.
Oh, I definitely was like, Graham, you have to do pee wet. Like, and you were like, heck yeah, we gotta do pee wet.
Oh yeah. Everyone was on board for pee wet until they tasted it.
Yeah, I've never actually had a mushy pee. Because why would I?
Well, you're about to. Cheers. You have a much better palate than I do. What do you make of that?
It's just like we made some wet earth and put it on a nugget.
Yeah.
And the nugget.
6.
What that?
I said earthy count 6.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying.
Bleh. That's not a strong bleh. It's just I wouldn't return to it.
So, tell me about the time you accidentally started a riot.
Oh.
A strong start.
So, please note, I am a teenager. And
In the story.
I'm a teenager in Prince George, which if you're from Canada and you're from British Columbia, you know is a rough-ass town. Like, our high school had a smoke pit. And then they were like, wait, why are we letting high school kids smoke on school grounds? That's insane. Oh my God, no. We need to move them across the street. This is true. This is a real true thing that happened. And so anyhow, there was some, this was going to be bad for a couple of reasons. One, it was going to inconvenience me personally because I hung out with the kids who smoked. But second of all, the smoke pit was like across the street from school grounds, right at like a blind corner. So it was a really dangerous place to have kids wandering across the road. And third of all, it had really bad visibility from the school. So what they wanted to do was cut down a big copse of trees that stood beside my high school, which is a real problem because that's where people went to smoke marijuana. So as you can see...
And they wanted to cut the trees down so they could see the kids.
Yeah, but that was also going to cut into the marijuana smoking that happened just off school grounds. Let's talk about Prince George Senior Secondary and how incredibly cool it was to go there. It made me the person I am today, let me tell you. I became a dirtbag there, and I still am one today. But anyhow, but I'm also really, really insane. So we decided that we would stage a protest against this whole thing, against cutting down the trees and about wanting wanting a crosswalk there, so at least, there'd be an illusion of safety. And all of these things, and this is the person who is, at this point already distributed several zines amongst her high school complaining about things. And so I decided that we would organize a protest, and for some reason people listened to me. And it was me and my friend Salem. Now, Salem's... I hope that she never sees this. And I have nothing but love for her, but I'm going to out her government name as Beverly.
If you're watching.
So anyhow, look, we organized this in the best faith we could. We made cookies to get we were teenage girls. We were earnest, and we got people to come out. But you know what? Here's the deal. If you get enough kids together standing around going, yeah, can I swear? No. Yeah, actually bust this. Actually, yeah, bust this. You know what, let's go. And so for some reason, I did not suggest this, but boy, did I ever follow along because it sounded exciting. We did for some reason, it took off. A movement gathered, and this big crowd of people, most of whom were just out there to smoke and didn't realize a protest was happening, suddenly started moving en masse down the street to the school board office, which was right next door to another high school. We walked a really long way. We walked over to the school board office and a different high school, which was partway across downtown.
Yeah.
And we got to the different high school and the school board office, and the decision was made somewhere at the front of the pack that what would be more exciting to do than just go and stand outside the school board office, which we did get to, would be to run through the other high school
And scream.
and scream at them and yell at them as we ran through the hallways and convince them to join our protest. And so, I do have a vivid memory of going through the Duchess Park Senior Secondary gym and screaming at a bunch of 8th graders playing basketball. Anarchy now. Again, I was a teenager, and I'm allowed to scream anarchy now without understanding it. It's a good thing to do. It's a formative memory.
Just imagining the kid.
Yeah, that was basically it.
Getting ready to do the free throw. Anarchy now!
Yes, I don't even know if they heard me or if they were just so gobsmacked by the stream of people running through the gym interrupting classes.
How many people were there?
I don't
Dozens?
I would say probably over 100 in my memory. It was on the news.
It was on the news?
Oh, it definitely made the news. And then what happened was then there was a bunch of standing around outside the school district board and somebody jumping up onto the little porch roof over the front door, which then they got yelled at. And then things kind of dispersed from there, and a small group of people went to city hall to sort of continue to voice their general displeasure. And at that point, I don't know where Salem had gotten to this point, but I tell you, my friend Rob, who was tall and handsome and I had a little bit of a crush on, even though most people were like, he's kind of like I don't know, I would describe him as an ent of a person. In a good way.
In a good way.
A person. Pause. In a good way.
I love
in a
that.
good way.
That's
And
great.
affectionate.
Yeah.
And hot.
Yeah, I know the sort, people say in chat.
Yeah.
So anyhow, we made our way back to our school together from downtown and walked and had a pleasant chat. And I slid back into my last period English class And my teacher, who was retiring that year and just did not care, was like, "Where were you?" And I was like, "Oh, I was at the riot." And he's like, "How'd that go?" And I was like, "Oh, better than I expected." He's like, "Okay." And that was it. And I didn't get in trouble, even though I definitely should have. But I tell you what, when I was in grade 12, I suddenly realized I was not cut out for a life of actually getting a job. And I decided I needed to go to university to prolong my youth. And I suddenly had to get better grades. And my teachers were all so proud of me for pulling my act together, let me tell you.
I don't think, I realize now, I don't think I've ever actually known, did they cut all the trees down?
No.
Oh, so it worked.
I don't think they were ever going to do it. I think it was just a threat.
All right.
We accomplished nothing except giving me a good story.
Well, it's a great story. This is not great.
What is this?
Oh, you'll love this because you picked it.
Oh, I don't know. Remember why?
Oh no.
No.
Yeah.
Is this sweetened creamy product?
No, not sweetened. It's again, the name on the can is thickened creamy product.
I was very adamant that you had to feed this to people.
Yep.
I thought this was a Kathleen pick.
It's startlingly neutral.
I hate that. That's wild. What the hell do you use this for?
I don't know, because it's mostly like whipped palm oil. I think that you went back for more.
I have to be sure.
Well, then I have to join you in that.
That's weird.
Yeah.
It's just like, do I want some unctuousness?
Do I want unctuousness? Who knows?
Horrifying.
I hate this. Okay.
So probably a little shorter of a story.
Yeah. That one, that's quite a long
But
story.
from around that same era.
Oh, God.
Can you tell me about how you got fired from White Spot?
Oh, that was just for like, I did like one shift and they were like, "Hey, you have to do all of this stuff." And I was like, it was basically, "Hey, do all this crappy stuff." And I was like, "I don't wanna." And they're like, "You shouldn't work here." And I was like, "Yeah."
What is White Spot? White Spot is a
Then now, in my defense,
family restaurant chain.
it was a franchise, and they did not train me at all. They were like, "Just go out there and cut some pie." And I was like, "How big of a slice of pie do I cut?" And they didn't tell me. And then they were like, "You've cut it too small." I was like, "Nobody told me. I guessed." Who cares? God, right?
They gave you all the bad jobs because you were new.
Yeah, they're like, "Hey, go." Basically, another waitress was like, "Go bust my tables for me." And I'm like, "I have my own stuff to do. Bust your own tables." And it turns out you can't do that on your first day of the job. Or you should be able to if it's a good job.
Bussing tables sounds really different when bus
Yeah.
is a square replacement.
Right, yeah. Go bust that
does.
table.
You can't tell people to go bust their own table.
Well, you can if they're new.
You can, that's true.
Yeah.
I don't know. Minor insubordination, I suppose.
Terrific. Next.
If this is like, I don't like pina coladas, correct?
I think so. Yeah, I think so.
Ugh.
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 Ugh, this is the wettest.
Oh,
It's-
this is very wet.
It's very wet. Cheers. Your eyebrows got way up.
It was unexpected.
Uh-huh.
You know what, though?
What's up?
Imagine like one of those like really good stir fries you can get with like chunks of pineapple in it.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
I imagine a bad one.
No, not a bad one. Yeah. Uh-huh.
Rachel, your laugh is giving me life.
Graham always seems surprised by this, which he shouldn't be by now. Yes, but all of this gets erased when I have this one.
I'm actually super excited to try that.
Great.
I eat bad food though.
Yeah.
You've seen me eat.
I've also seen your work in student journalism,
Yes.
which of course is how we met.
Yes.
But before we met, you were working for a couple years at the terribly named Over the Edge.
Yep.
the newspaper at the University of Northern BC. I think is it still called that?
I have no idea.
Anyway, in Prince
I
George.
hope not. I tried to change the name when I was there.
What would you have come up with? Because I'm about to ask you about a contest that you ran that you did name.
Oh no. Oh, I wanted to, me and my friend Belinda had a whole plan that we were going to suggest that we rename it the Carrier because it was it had echoes to the First Nations of the area and kind of sounded kind of like a newspaper name and was better than Over the Edge, and that idea got no traction, and it was a good idea.
Oh.
Occasionally I have good ideas.
Okay, that was a good name.
When I collaborate with other people.
So tell me then instead about Roll Up the Rim Job to Win.
I'm gonna- I tell it, it boosted circulation.
For our American viewers, what is Roll Up the Rim to Win?
It is a contest that Tim Hortons does, and it's all digital now. But you used to actually like roll up the rim of your coffee cup, and it would tell you if you'd won or not. And like it was mostly just like, you know, free coffees and tab, but occasionally you could win a car. Hooray! So the Tim Hortons on campus was very busy because, you know.
It's a Tim Hortons on a university campus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so they always
And
did.
this is back when their coffee was decent.
Yeah, because I'm old. But
It wasn't that long ago that they screwed everything up.
pretty long ago now.
well.
But the point being, like, people were going there and there was lots of trash, and Roll Up the Rim to Win kind of sort of like became an annoying thing for me personally on campus. But mostly I did it because I wanted to see if I could get away with this, and apparently I could, because this contest ran for several years.
I forgot about that.
It was a beloved annual institution. And what we do is literally, we just print a tiny, tiny, tiny picture, no smaller than a thumbnail, of a, we'll say, cartoon representation of the act in question. But it was line art, it was vague, it was small.
Yeah.
And we would say, we could just say, it's Roll Up the Rim Job to Win. If you can find the little picture of a rim job we've hidden somewhere in the paper, come to the office and you will get one of our like promotional CDs or some other prizes we have for you. Because we would get sent things over the course of the year. I got us on the mailing list for several very good heavy metal record labels. So we'd get tons of free metal CDs sent to us. And so basically, we just, you know, you could, this was at my university, and you could just go and so show us the picture and then get something from the bin of stuff. It was a way of giving away things. It was just kind of fun. It got people to come to the newspaper office. Sometimes they appreciated our work. Most of the time they were just like, this is real? And I was like, yeah, man, can you believe we got student funding to do this? I wouldn't have said anything that witty when I was that young. But anyhow, yeah, that was it.
How did the Tim...
Oh, right, yes. But one year the prize, I went to the local erotic gifts store, and they gave us a bunch of, like, pornography. And they were like, would you like to give any of this away? And I was like, no, thank you. Can I have a gift card instead? So I did try to get proper prizes.
What did the Tim Hortons on campus think?
They did not acknowledge our existence.
Why did the contest eventually stop?
Because I stopped going there.
Okay.
Eventually I graduated.
All right. I'm gonna be real with you. This one's startler. Oh, Logan.
Whoa.
I think it's thicker than usual tonight.
It's better
Is this
every
your
day.
thickest tang, Logan?
I explicitly tried today to
Oh, it's
add
thicker on the bottom.
literally the smallest amount of water that I could while have it still be a liquid.
This could be a non-Newtonian fluid.
Yeah, that's what I think. Yeah. All right. Anyway.
If I hit it, does it thicken upon impact?
Only one way to find out.
Oh. You know what? I'm kind of getting an orange chicken vibe. I'm going back for more thick tang.
Oh my god. Rachel, what is it? The whamjanglers? What are they called?
Oh, the wanger twangers.
The wanger twangers.
They
Just
get
really
you in the
hit-
wanger twangers?
Really hitting the wanger twangers
Ooh.
tonight.
Awful.
After 2 dips and some consideration, not good.
No, not gonna do that again.
So there was a couple challenges in the system for. Finally, can Kathleen tell her story?
Oh, yeah.
Which I guess is sort of what we're doing.
All of these are my stories.
Speaking of journalism, your job post university in PG over the summer.
Oh yeah. So I after doing my student newspaper and also like writing articles and not actually being a complete menace to society running this.
Oh, you were
lovely
good at
journal.
it.
I was good at it.
Yeah.
And what happened was the actual official daily newspaper, the Prince George Citizen, posted an ad for a paid internship. And I went, no way, this has never happened before in the history of my life. I want to work at the Prince George Citizen. I actually do want to be a journalist. I changed my mind after I graduated for obvious reasons. But basically, I applied for it. I even took out my labret piercing because I was so serious. I remember that. I did. I didn't want. I was getting sick of it anyhow. Let's be honest. And then obviously, as I found out later, I didn't get it because there was never any paid internship to begin with. It was simply a cover to hire someone's kid for the summer. But then, something incredible happened. The person at the sister paper, the weekly paper, the one that does like the crappy local news coverage, lost their reporter. Their reporter got a new job and they needed to hire someone in a hurry because they had not given notice. And they went, we know who we can hire that's good enough to work at a crappy weekly paper. The actual most qualified person who applied for our internship. So suddenly, a second position opened up, because this gave them time to hire somebody properly and do a search and stuff like that, and see how cheaply they could pay a new journalism graduate, and pay me minimum wage for the summer to get my dream job. Except my dream job was going to be doing half of the summer at the PG This Week, because they needed because they needed someone to do the coverage, and then after the first half of the summer, I would get to switch and go to the Prince George Citizen to take over from the job that the nepotism hires stole from me. So what happened was I started working at the PG This Week and did a really good job, and everyone liked me, and I had a great time. And then my 2 months were over, and then I went over to the Prince George Citizen, and I got to work there for a whole week. And then I had to go back to the PG This Week because nepotism hire was bad at his job, and they actually needed someone to do the work. So then the talented person got to go back and do the less exciting, less headlining, less getting things published in the actual paper job for the rest of the summer. But I did get to cover my friend's shows, and wrote several glowing reviews of local experimental music concerts that probably shouldn't have been that glowingly reviewed.
And I joined you briefly during that period of time, and we went to go look for a crop circle that sucked.
Yeah, somebody faked a crop circle really badly, but I was desperate for anything, so I went out and covered it anyhow. It was a chance to go for a walk with somebody I liked.
This was actually in an early loading ready run video.
Yeah, you can see how young we are. And then, yeah, so that...
Open our eyes.
Yeah. So that's what I did. However, it all worked out well because basically the people I worked with were very impressed with my actual job. And it opened another, internship opportunity for me, and then they offered me a job after I graduated that I turned down to go make more money doing something else. And I don't regret that decision at all. I'm sorry, local journalists.
Before you dip that nug, Graham.
What?
Before you dip that nug, I'd just like to remind our audience there are 15 minutes left in the Kathleen Runs Pizzamas Island for You giveaway. Remember to get if you are enjoying the stories you're being told, and I'm sure you are, then you have 15 minutes to get your $9.14 donations in to have Kathleen run her one-shot D&D.
It's a one-shot D&D campaign. It's set in the fantastical place of Pizzamas Island, where everything is Pizzamas themed, and a terrible corrupting influence, it's capitalism, has ruined the island.
But Kathleen, do I need to know about Pizzamas to enjoy this?
No, you don't. It's weird enough. And you know what? If you're like, actually, I love you, Kathleen, but I hate Pizzamas and I don't like John and Hank Green, and I'll go, that's wild, but I'm not here to yuck your yum. I'll run something else for you. There you go. I'll run something I've been working on.
All right. There you go. Get your $9.14 donations in. There are 13 minutes remain.
13 minutes remain. I'm
Back
putting
to
number
the
on
wets.
Overlay. All right. This one. This one's so. Yeah.
I know what this is, I think. Oh, God.
Do you? What do you think it
Is
is?
this the chai creamer that we had to go and buy?
No.
Oh.
This one was funnier.
Oh, no.
Cheers.
What is this?
There's eggnog.
Oh.
Dairyland eggnog.
Oh.
I am quite fond of you. The among the jobs you moved on to after that, like many people in northern BC, oil and gas.
Yeah. I did what Kate Beaton did, and I went and worked like in a remote community to make money because I had a lot of student loans. Because I come from, we'll say, a limited economic background. I grew up on welfare, so I was poor. So I had a lot of student loans because I wanted to better myself, and I was told I should get a university degree, which has done me jack all in my life. But that doesn't matter. I was in northern BC.
Yes, and then you actually, I realize now I want to hit on you transferred to a different. You were actually actively headhunted.
Yes.
After you moved to Vancouver.
Yeah.
And a different oil and gas company had a pipeline explode.
Oh yeah. They sprayed. Now I would say explode is a strong word for were so disorganized they did not know where their pipelines were, so they told the city of Burnaby it was okay to dig up in an intersection, and then caused the city of Burnaby did a huge high-pressure jet fuel pipeline which sprayed oil all over Burnaby and into Burrard Inlet, which is a sensitive environmental zone. A disaster of untold magnitude for an oil and gas company.
And they went, we should hire someone to, like, be in charge of these records.
Yeah.
There's this person with a good head on her shoulders at this competing gas company. We should actively headhunt her.
I had just actually finished up a contract working in the lands department where I was doing that kind of thing. I'm quite organized, as it turns out, and I'm good at keeping track of things. So basically, I got hired to clean up their regulatory mess.
For a brief period in British Columbia, you know, the call before you dig, you'd call Kathleen.
Only if you called for a certain company.
Yeah. And how did that company, how was your time at that company?
Well, so I just want to say, we're gonna get a little folksy here, because I'm so mad about this still. You know, technically, because when they paid me that massive severance, I wasn't supposed to talk about them, but... So, my first experience working in oil and gas was up in northern BC, and I worked in like an office for a while, and they were like, oh, you're quite organized, actually. Would you like to come work up in the sour gas plant and do, like, equipment, like, management stuff to, like, make sure it all gets maintenance and stuff? This is all very, technical. And I was good at that, and that's how I got a job in the lands department. I managed to transfer out of northern BC to Vancouver, which is living the dream as far as, like, a career progress. I got into, like, after I graduated from university, it only took me a couple of years, and I was walking into a downtown office building in downtown Vancouver, and I thought, is this it? But I would get to that. But anyhow, I was doing a good job, and I got headhunted for this, and you'd think that they would respect me. But it turns out that when you work in a sour gas plant, everybody is just like, I don't care anything about you as long as you don't kill us. Because if anything goes wrong in a situation like that, everyone dies.
In like everything in like a 30-kilometer radius from the sour gas plant dies.
Yeah, so your loved ones probably, if the wind is bad, but you definitely are going to die. So there's like this whole like, if you're working up here, I just assume that you're good at your job, and if you've proven to be not good at your job, you're not going to be working here for very long. As in you'll be out of here in the day. So anyhow, I was used to this, where I sort of, it was very utopian in terms of, like, everybody just had to assume that you were good and would trust you. And I moved down to this Vancouver office, and I have never worked with more... It opened my eyes to sexism and misogyny, that I was expected to order the coffee for these boys, who were less educated than me, and who did not have the skills that I did. And in fact, I was there because they had made a huge and compounding series of mistakes.
So they found a nonsense reason to let you go.
Yeah, I mean, I was also quite grossly insubordinate.
Really? That comes out of left field.
I was as rude to them as they were to me. But I will tell you that I still had several allies that came to my going away party from the company, and who gave me wonderful and breathless reports of how disorganized they were without me and how they were going to have to hire 2 people to do my job. So, revenge is served in many ways, which is knowing that they were suffering and also getting a ton of money out of them as well. So it's all good.
Neat.
Like, is that an amount?
That's an amount. That's usually around what I have.
Okay.
I tend to.
Oh, geez. All right, that's going hard.
Well, that's what I've been doing.
Yeah, you gotta go hard.
Do you know it? Do you have to go that hard?
I mean, you shouldn't, but
Okay.
I have been.
All right, so this is the amount then?
That looks great.
Graham looks like he's about to cry.
Oh.
PTSD flashbacks happening.
Oh. Oh. I'm so sick of this.
Yeah. I mean, like, I've had this flavor before in foods I like. It's just normally like a whisper.
Uh-huh.
Oh, it lingers, eh?
Oh, it does. Like I said, I could taste it in my dreams last night. I know I do this every time. It sucks every time. How am I supposed
Welcome,
to
Raiders.
Am I supposed to get used to this? Oh,
Oh, it's not good.
no.
I don't like that. Don't approve. Blech.
So you have a really high pain tolerance.
Oh, yeah.
Stone-faced De Vere.
I do. So,
You know
I've-
exactly where I'm
I've
going
had,
with this.
I've had a child. I've had one child. Maybe she's watching, because I said that she could watch till about 8:15, 8:30. I'd never had a child before, and they said, when you go into labor, you'll know, because it's painful. But you don't want to go to the hospital too soon, because they'll just send you back. And nothing is worse than going back and forth, so you got to be sure. So just wait till you're actually genuinely in pain. And I went, okay, fine. And so I did. And then there was like a traffic accident, and things were moving along quickly. And so it sort of turned out that I waited until I was like basically like 9 centimeters dilated. And I was like, yeah, okay, this crosses my threshold for personal pain of literally being right on the verge of giving birth.
To be fair, it was like almost 2 weeks past the estimated date.
Yeah.
And we'd been to see the doctor that morning, and
Yeah.
he's like, yeah, everything, doesn't look like anything's happening here. This afternoon, I will call in and get you put on the induction list.
Yeah.
And
We'll
so
force that baby out of you.
And so we went home. That was at about 11 in the morning.
We went home, and I walked back from the doctor's office kind of being like,
Trying to rattle it out.
just get out already.
And then around 4 in the afternoon, you were like, ow.
Yeah. I was like, ooh.
Ow,
This
actually.
This is a little painful.
Yeah.
And so then I waited for a while. And then, just to be sure. And then we called your dad to come and drive us.
Yeah.
And then there was this car accident, and like traffic was at a standstill. And at this point, I was like, actually, quite a bit ow, as in leaning out the window and being like, ah.
My favorite part of this whole thing was you're leaning out the passenger window going, "Ah," and the driver of the car next to us stopped at the light, is like, she went, are you okay? And you were like, I'm having a baby. Oh. Congrats!
Yeah, I would have disengaged from that conversation as well, honestly. Good move, lady. So anyhow, we call an ambulance because, like, we're literally stuck in traffic. Like, it was at a standstill.
Yeah.
And the ambulance forces traffic through and gets me to the hospital. And I get there, and they're like, boy, you're ready to go. And I'm like, heck yeah, I am. Give me the drugs. And they're like, oh, we can't give you drugs until your doctor's here. And I'm like, well, I'm here at the last second. Where's my doctor? Oh, he's stuck in traffic.
They would the same traffic. They wouldn't ambulance for him.
No, I had known. I would have been like, go and get him so I can get something strong. But I did get nitrous oxide, which is less exciting than you would hope. However,
Didn't really do much for you.
I mean, I probably did something, but I would not say I was having a great time. But then it was over, and then I had a kid, and that was exciting. And then everything, and the thing is about having a kid these days, we didn't find out the gender because it's irrelevant and doesn't matter. It could have been inaccurate. Like, it was like, whatever. And then but most people do. So eventually, like, a couple minutes after Penelope was born, I had to be like, hello, have I had a boy or a girl? And they're like, oh, it's a girl. And I went, oh, I can't say it. Because I can't swear.
Oh, yeah. I don't remember this part, actually.
Oh, can I get one swear?
Please, no.
No shirt is what I yelled in the delivery room. Because I'd had dreams, you see, that it was going to be a girl, but I obviously didn't put any faith in that because that's nonsense.
My favorite part of this, actually, the follow-up weeks later when we go to the nurses unit and they, like, double check and they're like, early vaccinations and just make sure that she's doing okay and everything. And the nurse just sort of idly, conversationally, is like, now, of course, if anyone tried to do anything to your child, you'd stab them or something. And Kathleen had never, up until that point, it was clear from your face, had not considered the notion of someone attempting to harm her child or what the consequences for that person would be. And watching her face shift into, oh yeah.
Knife time.
Yeah. Was amazing. Watching the instinct crystallize.
I think the nurse probably asks all the mothers that question and just like keeps careful notes of the ones who are like, sure, I guess. Right? Oh, okay.
Thank you for sharing your story.
There's so many of them. Thank you for sharing these horrible wets with me.
No one's ever said thank you for these before.
Really? I think you put a lot of effort into this.
I did, and I do want to thank a bunch of other people for helping, including yourself. But yeah, this is only one more night of that.
This was a really good idea.
Sorry,
I'm proud of
Sorry,
you.
audio. Thank you. That's gonna do it for Wet Ones. Yeah. Cheers, Kathleen. Back to you.
Before you dip that